Hi everybody, this is Mr. Knight and I'm going to show you how to create an amortization table using Google Sheets. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to explain to you is exactly what's going on here. So an amortization table it shows a couple of different things. First, it shows from payment to payment um, what your principal is or how much is remaining, and it also shows not just your monthly pay in total, but how much of that monthly pay is going towards interest and how much of it is going towards principal, because monthly pay is made up of two parts, the principal and the interest. So after your first payment, you start with the principal, um, and then after you pay a certain amount towards interest and a certain amount towards principal, then you have remaining principal, which will then start back over for payment number 2. Now here's our starting point, and at this point I want you to copy down everything that you see here, so feel free to pause the video, but what I want you to also copy down is not this 2081. That's not what you're copying down. You are going to copy down the formula. This is going to take a little bit, and I want you to be careful and detailed, but um, take your time and copy everything down that you see here. And for the cells that you see, B2 and C2 and D2, you can either click on those cells or you can just type them in as you see. Either way, that's going to work. So go ahead and copy that down, and you should get a monthly pay of $2,081.15. Go ahead and pause the video and copy everything down that you see here. So the monthly pay is using basically the monthly mortgage formula that we've been working with before. It's the same exact formula. Um, so now that we have monthly pay, we can determine how much of our payment of this monthly pay is going towards just paying the bank interest. So to find that out, we are just using simple interest. So what we will type into this cell is equals principal times interest rate. And notice I'm clicking on those two cells, and that's very important. Instead of typing numbers in, we're clicking on them. So we have principal times the annual percentage rate. So that is going to tell you for this specific payment period, if this stayed the same throughout the year, how much you would be paying in interest, and that'd be $14,500. But for a mortgage, we are paying every month. So instead of using a yearly payment, we are breaking it down into 12 months. So to do that, we divide by 12. So we have principal times the APR divided by 12. So this tells us that in our monthly payment, our monthly mortgage payment of $2,081.15, $1,208.33 of that monthly payment goes towards sending interest to the bank. So whatever we're not paying in interest, the rest of our monthly payment goes towards principal. So for that reason, we are going to type in equals the monthly payment minus the amount of interest. So if $1,208.33 goes towards our monthly pay, the remaining amount that we have to pay is $872.82. This is very normal for your first monthly mortgage payment, for a big majority of it to be going towards interest. So this was our original principal. This is our loan of $500,000. In our first monthly payment, we spent $872 to knock off some of that principal. So the remaining principal is equal to that original $500,000 minus the amount of that monthly payment we spent on principal. So that leaves us with $499,000 $127.18. Okay, so let's look at payment number 2. Everything's going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to start with APR. I'm going to put equals and then click on 2.9%. Okay, the APR stays the same. The number of years always stays the same, so I'm going to put equals and then click on 30. For the monthly payment, I'm actually going to type out that number. That'd be $2,081.15. Okay, type that one out. And then for the last 3, I'm actually going to well, here, before I do that, I'm going to go to principal. So the principal for month number 1 was $500,000, but then we spent $872 to knock off some of that principal. So our remaining principal is this much. So now this carries over into our principal for payment number 2, which would be month 2. So this cell is equal to the remaining principal from the previous payment. So it's equal to this $499,000. Okay. All right. The amount of interest, the amount of principal, and the remaining principal, we're going to highlight all 3 of those cells. We're going to copy them. That'd be Control C. And then I'm going to click on this cell right here and do Control V, as in Victor, for paste. Okay. So as you can see, the amount, our monthly pay stays the same, but the amount that we pay towards the interest just went down by $2, which means the amount we spent on principal goes up by $2. So we're spending the same amount, but little by little, more of that payment goes towards paying off the house. So now our remaining principal is $498,252.26. Okay, I'm going to change one more thing and then we're going to finish up this table, I promise. Okay, so this number 2, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to replace it with an equals. I'm going to click on this 1, and then I'm going to do plus 1. Obviously, 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. What this is going to do is now every cell after this is going to use the cell before and add 1 to it. So if I were to copy and then paste, this cell is going to use that 2 and then add 1 to it, which makes it 3. And so on and so forth, 5, 6, 7. So we are numbering our payments. Now, how many payments do we have exactly? Well, we have a monthly payment, so that's 1 payment per month, which is 12 payments per year, and our number of years is 30. So it's 12 payments per year times 30 years, which is 360 payments. All right, so you ready? I'm going to highlight this entire second row, starting from 2 all the way across to the remaining principal, $498,000. And I'm going to copy all of that. Control C for copy. You should see this dashed line around everything. Now I'm going to click on this cell, and I'm going to scroll all the way down until we get to row 361. So I want you to hold Shift and click on this cell. If you hold Shift and click, that will highlight everything from where we clicked up here. It will highlight everything until we clicked down here. And then from here, I just want you to Control V, paste. Control V. and it does all of the work for us. Ta-da! Awesome. So that's how you do it. You just make the first two rows and then you just copy that second row and paste it to everything else. And you can just follow how the table works. So you can see how the amount of principal goes from 500,000, works its way down, and then more and more rapidly, you can see how the principal numbers were before. They say in the 490s, 480s, 470s, 460s. As we go, it starts jumping down a little bit quicker. Okay. And as we get towards our last payment, you can see that, well, first, the amount of interest at the end is $5, and then over 2,000 goes towards principal. So at the beginning, a majority goes towards interest, but at the end, a vast majority goes towards principal, which is just paying off your loan. And then we get negative 6 cents as a remaining balance. Because this is exponential math that we're looking at here. It's not going to be perfect, but we were off by just 6 cents. So, I mean, that doesn't really make a big deal. But anyway, that's how you make the amortization table for a 30-year loan. Hope you learned something. Thanks.